Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode, or should I say a hot episode. Today we're talking about Fire King, or more specifically Fire King Snake Eye, the deck that I believe is right there in contention with Yubel and Tenpai for those top slots. Now, you may be looking at this deck and going, Snow, this deck has been nerfed extremely heavily. We only have one Snake Eye Ash and one Poplar. What do you mean this is a top deck? Well, because of the existence of the Fire King cards in particular, this deck still has a lot of plays and a lot of power behind it. Mostly in the fact that its end board is still extremely powerful and difficult to deal with, alongside the fact that it plays around max seed thanks to the Fire King cards, and in fact has a back row that makes it like powerful and useful thanks to Skyburn and the like, and it just plays from a wide array of different areas, right? From hand, from deck, from from grave, from field, all of that jazz. Makes it very difficult to out. And, of course, it has a fairly good Tenpai matchup. If we're expecting a whole bunch of Tenpai, this deck in particular, I think it does pretty well against it. It's not perfect against it, but it can play into hand traps extremely well, and it also isn't bad into board breakers. So yeah, let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation. Once again, I'm playing 42. If you watched my last video on Yubel, you would know if I'm playing bricks, I like playing over 40, and I think 42 is a very, very clean number. On top of that, we're also playing the same Kashtira package, the 1 Fenris, the 2 Unicorn, and the 1 Birth, for very similar reasons. However, on top of that, I think as opposed to Yubel, this deck in particular can take advantage of the Kashtira cards even more so, which I will explain later. First and foremost, the Snake Eyes. 1 Ash, 1 Oak, 1 Poplar. And of course, the 1 Flomberg. That's pretty much it for Snake Eye cards, technically. We're not even playing the field spell, so there's that. We're also playing, of course, the 3 Diabell Star, as well as the 1 original Sinful Spoils, which are technically Snake Eye cards, so there you go. And the one wanted. I never saw this card, which is kind of funny. As for the Fire Kings, we are playing the 1 Ponix, the 1 Arvada, 2 Olcanics, the 1 Garunix, as well as the 1 Sacred Fire King Garunix, as well as the 2 Kirin. And then, of course, the 1 apiece of Fire King Sanctuary Island and Sky Burn. And that's pretty much it. Now, I don't actually enjoy... I don't think Olcanics is all that useful as much in this deck as a starter, because it does specifically require you to also have a fire monster in your hand, which is not necessarily uncommon, but I do think that it's not as useful. Sure, it's good. It's definitely strong. But yeah, for the most part, I just cut it down to 2. I think that there are better starters, mostly due to the fact that the Kashtiras are here. So yeah, for the most part, I would much rather draw these than these, and I didn't want to go to 43. This was just the card to cut. As for the rest of the cards, a lot of them are just like standard extenders, 1-for-1, bonfire, etc., as well as just hand traps. So we're playing the 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Infib, as well as 2 Triple Tack, 2 Called By, 1 Crossout, and the 1 Nibiru. Nibiru is honestly just in here kind of as a crossout target, as well as just being a solid card, right? Yeah, you could theoretically cut the Nibiru here, but it honestly was so useful. Also, I know you're about to be like, what about cutting a Triple Tack? Or like, what about not playing Triple Tack or something along those lines? Here's the thing. This came up so often. It's such a powerful board breaker. It is such a powerful going first tool, especially if you get max seed. Being able to look at your opponent's hand and go, I need to not deal with this. Very, very useful. And most importantly, it's a great cross-out target. A lot of people are playing Triple Tack just because it's like a very, very solid card, and being able to go cross-out called Triple Tack is fantastic. It's so funny, and it won me a lot of games. So there you go. As for the extra deck, Dracosack is in here. Now I know what you're saying. Why is Dracosack in here? Well, because if you use a Kashtira, well, more specifically Unicorn, search out Birth, special summon Diabell Star, right? Diabell Star, set the card, use Unicorn, Diabell Star to go into Dracosack. Dracosack, make 2 tokens, activate the Birth, bring back the Unicorn, link off the 2 tokens into IP Masquerena, and then link off everything for a big, can't be destroyed by card effect Apollosa with 3 materials, before committing to your activation of Original Sin, sending away the Kashtira Birth that was on your field. It's an insanely stupid combo that allows you to make a wildly powerful end board. So, yeah. It's very good. And it basically forces your opponent to either Nibiru early or utilize an Ash Blossom improperly, which is great. So, yeah, for the most part, just a solid kind of threat. As for the rest of the extra deck, we're playing the one Hyong. It's very useful for like board breaking and stuff like that, thanks to the Olcanics and Garunics and stuff like that. Obviously, Link Karibo, one Nightmare Phoenix. This is actually part of the end board because it protects from battle, so your opponent can't just walk over in Apollosa during the or in the battle phase, which is very nice. We're also playing Sunlight Wolf to add back things like the Kirin as well as Ash Blossom, Hita, IP, SP, Dark. Celine to bring back the Diabellstar and potentially go into things like Apo or Amblo or something along those lines. Of course, we're playing the Promethean Princess, Amblo, Apo, Zelantis, and of course, Raging Phoenix. And that's pretty much it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first, and let's begin with ourselves a Kashtira. We're going to special summon the Kashtira here. We're going to grab up Unicorn, and then normal summon the Poplar. Poplar is going to grab up the Snake Eyes Original Sin, and then link off into the Link Karibo effect here. We're going to special summon, put into the back row. Here we go for the Ponix, since we already have ourselves the Flomberg, so we're then going to go and put the Fire King Island onto the field. I make Phoenix here. I don't know what I'm doing. I just needed to put the guy into the grave. So we're going to pop the Flomberg and then go for the Garunix as well. And again, I don't know what I'm realistically doing here. Realistically, I should just pop the Arvada with the Garunix, but I get spicy and I'm like, oh, I'll use the Garunix later. I don't. I make Promethean here, and then I bring back the Flomberg. I don't know what I was cooking here. This was my first game after a while of not playing this deck. Anyway, we're going to grab back the Garunix just so that we have it, as well as then we are going to put the Phoenix into the back row and just make the SP here. Now, this may seem strange, but like SP is just kind of like our best option with that board, since we didn't make the IP Masquerena. Realistically, that's what I should have made instead of going for the weird like Promethean line, but like I didn't really have access to that, so it's kind of difficult. But yeah, anyway. My opponent's going to reveal that they're on Rika, and this is where, like, Fenris is just incredible. And you'll see why in a second. They grab up the Lily Borea, as well as another card, which will not matter. They're going to go for this Lokai here, which we are just going to promptly destroy. And we're going to go for the Phoenix as well, to protect from destruction, or battle destruction. Anyway. They're going to go and grab back the monster here, and we're just going to banish the Lily Borea. Out comes the Rika Petal, and we're just going to pop as well, and then we're going to activate the Garunix in our hand, which, again, would not have done anything, but it's there for moral support. At that point, my opponent just concedes, realizing that they couldn't really have done anything there. So, good game, I think. Alright, here we are going second, and, well, this certainly is a hand. My opponent is on Mathmech. I saw quite a few Mathmech players today. I don't know why. I could not tell you as to why people are playing Mathmech. Every time this deck pops up, I go, why are people playing this? This looks like terrible. And it always is. My opponent is going to get promptly impermed here, which is very funny, and you'll see why in a second. They're going to go for the Heat Soul here. They're going to activate the effect. They're going to draw a card. They can draw Small World. Woo! It'd be a shame if that Maxi was, like, in their hand. They're going to go for Circular here, and, just, I don't know, go Link Decoder. Then they go for Access Code Talker. Okay. Surely they have something here, right? Surely one of those cards, like, I don't know, like a Signet Conflict or something. We draw Diabellstar, which is crazy here. I'm going to promptly imperm this guy, because here's the thing. This may seem so strange. Why did we imperm the Access Code Talker? First of all, because now Fenris can just walk over it, which means if they have an imperm, which they do, if they have an imperm, I could just go, cool, attack. And then I deal with the Access Code Talker, which is great. At the very least, we'd be able to do that. So yeah, that was kind of my thought process. I go for the cross out here on the Infip, and we get to set our Original Sin. And here is the Draco Sack line. Now this is pure comedy. Okay, if you don't, this is I love this line. First of all, we're gonna pop a back row here, okay? My opponent's gonna call by, I don't know, unicorn? I don't know what's happening here. I don't know why they called by the unicorn there. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna go for Phoenix here. We're gonna pop the second back row before committing to anything. They're gonna call by the DFL star. Awesome. Now we do full Snake Eye combo. We broke the board, prevented them from doing anything. Now we go for the Snake Eye combo. We're going to grab up the Ponix here, which is, yeah, this is why. Because now we can just send this to the graveyard, grab up the Oak. Oak can bring back the Ash. We don't really need the Poplar since we've already activated its only search target. And out comes the Flomberg. Flomberg does full combo, yada yada. And we just kill the opponent there. A good game. Alright, here we are going first. And once again, we drew a fairly good hand. Let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to start off with the Diabell Star, setting the original sin, and activate the effect of the original sin, to the which it will promptly be ashed. Cool. I'm going to look at the hand and see what we can see. Out comes the Maxi, and let's take a look at that hand. Oh, Harpies, Droll, Valor. Huh. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I put away the Harpy's Feather Duster, and we are going to search out here the Ponix, and then normal summon it, and get met by the Valor. And at this point, here's the thing. Pretty much no matter what I did here, I needed them to not draw well off of a single card. So I did this play because if they have pretty much anything, we can just pop and add back as long as they don't kill us. Now, likely this is Tenpai, right? So that's kind of my thought process. If they fade a single draw step, if they do not draw full combo into kill me, I win. And they drop Fodra, and I'm like, yes, we're fine. They attack over, that's fine, because guess what? Ponix just comes back. Not really that big of a deal. We draw Bonfire. Again, not really too necessary, but like, hey, that's a pretty good draw. Here we just like pop. Again, I know that they have the Droll in hand, so yeah, we just do this. We go for the Garunix, they're going to go for the Droll. I'm like, that's A-okay. Here we pop the Arvada. Arvada is going to reborn the Volcanix. And Volcanix, notably, can also trigger here. So out comes the other guy, and then we're just going to deal 2,000 damage. And now we can link off into the Hita. Hita can then bring back the Ash that they used earlier, and then we can link that off into a Promethean Princess, and Promethean Princess can reborn the Arvada. Now, if they basically have anything, we can just negate, pop, destroy. We're off to the races. I do not think that there is a singular card that they could draw here that does anything. So, at this point, the game is clean. They go for Typhon, walk over the Arvada, which, I don't know why we did that. If anything, you walk over the Promethean Princess there, but it doesn't really matter. Realistically, you probably should just activate the effect, but of course they don't. So, oops. Alright, here we are, once again going first. But my opponent won the coin flip. That's right! It's Tenpai. Hooray! Let's see what we can do here. We're going to start off here with the Fire Sanctuary so that we can slap down the Diabell Star. And here we can activate the effect and get impermed. I'm like, that's fine. Here's the thing. I am almost 1,000% certain they have something like Maxi or what have you. But our hand is good enough to where I don't really need to resolve the Diabell Star. So I just allow that to resolve even though I have the cross out. Because the only thing that really kills me here is Maxi. So we're going to pop the Oak here and grab up the Garunix. Garunix is then going to special summon itself and then pop a card. We're going to pop the Volcanix. Volcanix is then going to activate and we're going to special summon out Hita. Hita is going to activate its effect, grabbing that Ash Blossom, that delicious, delicious Ash Blossom, and then we can go for the Bestower of Flames. Here, out comes the Oak. Oak effect is going to activate. Now, why did I not bring out something like the Volcanix to potentially pop and search with the Volcanix? Well, because Oak here gets us the exact same thing, except better. So yeah, we're going to search out the Poplar here. Poplar is going to grab its card, the original sin. Then we're going to link those off into a Sunlight Wolf, and then go for the Poplar, putting a card into the back row. It doesn't really matter. We're going to go for the Ash here, putting the Flomberg into the zone of the Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, so that we can grab back the Volcanix. I just put a card into the back row again for this. Now we can go for the Ponix here, grab up the Skyburn, link those two away for the IP Masquerena, and then get 2 additional bodies onto the field. Now we haven't activated Oak's effect. Did you know that? That's great. So we're going to special summon that, go into the Amblo Whale, and then I just pass the turn. This is very weird. I get it. I understand. I'm not too big of a fan of it myself, but given the fact that we played through the 2 hand traps without needing our crossout designator, I'm feeling pretty good. Should I have maybe used the crossout designator? Yeah, probably. But overall, I'm still happy with it. My opponent's going to start off with the Pydra here. they're going to grab up the Songen Summoning, they're going to activate the Songen Summoning, and I don't know why I don't wait for them to activate the effect of the Songen Summoning to then go for the Skyburn, which they know about, but yeah, realistically, as well, this is also incorrect. And this is one of the things that I just can't play Snake Eye, I'm not good enough at it, but realistically, I should activate the IP Masquerena here. IP Masquerena, link off the Ambler Whale, and then send the Songen, or banish the Songen with SP, right? That's what I should do here. Because that would leave me access to Skyburn, triggering the Garunix in my grave, as well as kind of going from there. So we'd have a lot of disruption, as well as specifically disruption in the battle phase. So this is a huge mistake from me, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, it's still not terrible, because we can still basically do what we want. We can go Garunix and special summon a guy, and then like pop the Pydra and stuff like that. And then, you know, if they end up going for anything there, we can go for the IP Masquerena and potentially make an Abo or something else along those lines. So it's not like the end all be all, but this is a bit of a goof on my part. Anyway, my opponent is going to just concede here, so it didn't end up mattering because they just drew bad, I guess. Probably just drew a whole bunch of normals or something along those lines. But, yeah, good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is still insanely powerful. Its end boards are nigh unbreakable, and it is just an extremely competent deck in the current metagame. However, I will say it does lose a lot more to rogue decks, or just random, like, balls to the walls, either like really weird combo decks or like strange OTK style decks, much more than something like Yubel or Tenpai does. Well, Tenpai just kind of loses to itself most of the time, but you get the point. Yeah, for the most part though, this deck is still insanely powerful, and yeah, is maybe a little underrated, but for the most part, still an insanely powerful deck, and I would highly recommend playing this deck as well. If you still have the cards, highly recommend this for the Duelist Cup. You will definitely do well. As long as you know what you're doing, which hopefully this gave you a glimpse into what you can or should be doing. Now, that being said, there are still a million different lines and a million different options available to you. For example, you could also play Zombie Vampire and use Zombie Vampire and kind of go into that more consistently, which also does help, especially when you don't know your opponent's deck, to kind of guess what your opponent is playing and kind of play around that. So there's that. Anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.